He can talk about golf, and here he is now, Glenn Mack. Glenn Mack, the executive director of the Brightwater Culinary School, an active partner in this event, and he'll tell us why. Glenn, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Rick. Well, this is my third year to come out for the LPGA as an individual, but more importantly, as a representative of Northwest Arkansas Community College, and specifically as Brightwater, a center for the study of food. So Octagon has partnered with us for the last 3 years, and each year it gets bigger and better, more involved. And this year we're excited. We're actually going to be hosting it at 8th Street Market, where we're located in downtown Bentonville.
This is incredibly unique from an international perspective in the sense that a sporting event joint ventures with a food school, food entity, but on the premise that food and the study of it and the promotion of it is actually an economic development engine. Explain.
Oh, absolutely right, Rick. So the idea is that 8th Street Market, which houses vendors doing artisanal food, drink. So you're going to have some cured meats, wines, breads. We have a craft brewery there. All of them are housed in a single market, and inside of that is a culinary school. So right there, it makes us very unique. But how it ties to the larger community and certainly to the LPGA tournament is that we are not just a culinary school as part of a community college. Sure, we're developing the workforce, but the workforce needs are driven by the expanding economy in Northwest Arkansas. So our students can come, they can learn how to cook, they can learn how to bake, and having an opportunity to participate in the BITE, Taste of Northwest Arkansas, is a great way to integrate our curriculum, our activities. So, for example, this summer, it's the first year we've had summer classes, and a large part of it is related to this tournament and festival happening. And so our students in the butchery class got to grind their own meat for Friday's burger competition. The students in the bread class made the buns and the steam buns for the pulled pork that we're doing. We've got our seasonal cookery doing the slaw. We'll serve all of that out of our food truck. And so over the next 2 days for Thursday and Friday's events, we're going to have 40 students, staff, faculty members, all supporting this tournament and this festival. It's going to be a tremendous opportunity for our students to be engaged with the community.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll return back to that theme in a second, but the theme I'm about to tell you about. But the guy trained in China, Italy, Russia, Ukraine, and Uzbekistan, but he's got a southern accent going here in Little Rock. I don't know if you've heard that. Little Rock, Bentonville, Fayetteville, all of that. Is that fake, or are you working on it?
It's very much real. I completely lost my accent for 40 years when I lived outside of the state of Arkansas. I moved back 2 years ago, and it came back immediately.
There it is, ladies. Hey, it's coming back right now, ladies and gentlemen. So the bigger picture beyond even the tournament, it is unique for a 500,000-person region, 10th fastest growing, one of the top 10 SMSAs, to use this industry as an economic development tool. So talk a little bit about the history of the Brightwater Culinary School, how it got started, and how it got to where it is today.
Sure. Well, the school itself only opened 5 months ago in January of 2017. But the idea for Brightwater and using food as an economic driver started 10 or more years ago. So the community visionaries, community leaders with a lot of forethought came together and said, let's use food as an economic driver for education, for entertainment, to develop the workforce. And it all eventually came together in a former Tyson chicken processing plant on 8th Street in Bentonville, completely repurposed, an adaptive reuse project, staying true to our heritage and having an amazing site where our students can work shoulder to shoulder with entrepreneurs, owners, managers of some artisanal and local food production companies.
So you weren't here, but tell the story a little bit again from the business perspective. I'm assuming that as the leaders got together and understood that food is an important part of economic development, and Tyson's was here, which was fortuitous, and the Northwest Arkansas Council was here, which is also important. How did all of that tie together?
Oh, it was all integral. Northwest Arkansas Council commissioned a regional food assessment, and part of that regional food assessment, of course, doing research and study on the potential for food as an economic driver. But one of the recommendations that came out of that was to create a school that not only buffered the workforce, but also could help serve as a model of strengthening the regional food system.
And also, in my world, in sports development facilities and why sporting events are important, we always talk about quality of life, and a byproduct is industry relocation. Well, between P&G, a more direct Tyson's and Walmart, the industry relocation has other reasons to do it, but a culinary, diverse community with high-end food options, I assume, has its benefits as far as bringing more industry and bringing more corporations into town as well?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, Northwest Arkansas has always been a great place to live. I was born here. I spent several decades traveling the world, and the first opportunity I had to come back, I took it. And so you can certainly look back and say, well, the pivotal moment was in 2011 when Crystal Bridges opened, and then you had an amazing world-class museum that drew the tourists, drew educators, scholars, artists to the area. And then from that, everything else began to continue. We already had an amazing foundation of a great place to work and live, and then some of those amenities that go along with tourism and economic development, such as hotels and restaurants and nightclubs, begin to follow along. And now Bentonville and the rest of Northwest Arkansas is just a jewel for not only tourism, but more importantly, for living here.
The guy sounds like a Chamber of Commerce guy who's remorphed back into a Southern accent, ladies and gentlemen. So get this. He was originally trained as a Sovietologist, and he covered the Soviet Union as a photo editor for 7 years in Moscow and New York with Time magazine. I'm not done. After the fall of the USSR, he spent a year on the Silk Road in Central Asia studying the culinary culture and history of the region. Can food bring us closer together?
Well, I certainly think so. And, you know, some of my friends and colleagues with overactive imaginations actually think I'm deep undercover, working in another profession.
What are you covering?
But obviously, to answer your question, food is clearly the most important thing in my life, to bring together family. And that's kind of how we develop the theme around Brightwater. It's food as business, food as wellness, and food as craft. And so those three elements come together. So when you're sitting at a table with your family and you're eating every day and you're preparing food together, those are the memories that last, not a trip that you took and a vacation that you had. It's those day-to-day memories where you're sitting around the table. My kids are grown up. They're spending the summer in Spain, and they're saying, Dad, the food is awesome here, but it's not as good as around our table. I'm like, well, thank you.
He evaluates everything in this world based on quality of food, which is the way it should be. And you're not going undercover anywhere because you can tell how passionate you are about what you're currently doing.